Hi Year 4 and welcome to Science. So I've been speaking with your Year 4 teachers and finding out that you have been learning about organising animals into groups. So we're going to revise this again and then you're going to do some further research. So before we start, let's do a just checking. You may have seen some of these questions before, but it will be a good opportunity to revise. So pause the screen there and then we will go through the answers. Okay, so powerful person. When we organize animals into groups, we are looking at the work of Carl Linnaeus. We've also been talking about David Attenborough because of his work with animals. So Carl Linnaeus and David Attenborough. Where does human digestion begin? It begins with our mouth. Chewing our food is where digestion begins. Question 3, teeth are made out of enamel. And inside the enamel is the softer dentine, but on the outside is the hard enamel. And an exoskeleton is where the living thing has a skeleton on the outside of its body. Okay, so I'm going to pause the screen here. We've got lots of animals for you to look at, and I want you to remember which group they can be in. So for example, we could have a mammal. So pause the screen. Can you remember the names of any of the other animal groups? Okay, so let's see if you remembered all of these. These are our ways that we organize animals into groups. We've got vertebrate, invertebrate, meaning it doesn't have a spinal cord, a mammal, which we already said, birds, insects, reptiles, fish, and amphibians. So you may want to go back to the pictures I was just showing you and think about which group they could fit into before I go through the details of each of those. Okay, so first of all, vertebrates and invertebrates. So the vertebrates are any animal that has a backbone, has that spinal cord. So they have an internal skeleton like humans, you could have elephants, you could have cats and dogs, are all vertebrates. Invertebrates are animals that do not have a backbone. Some of these also have that exoskeleton we were just discussing. So they have an outer shell, or like a worm, don't have any kind of bone at all. So you can have insects, mollusks, annelids, arachnids, and crustaceans all tend to be invertebrates. Okay, now into the groups. So mammals, they're warm-blooded vertebrates. They have hair or fur, and they usually give birth to live young, and the females tend to feed their babies with their own milk. Birds are also warm-blooded vertebrates and have feathers and beaks. They mostly can fly, but they lay eggs for their young rather than live young. Okay, fish are cold-blooded vertebrates that live entirely underwater. They have fins and gills, which allow them to take oxygen from the water. Reptiles are also cold-blooded vertebrates, but have dry, scaly skin, and they usually lay soft-shelled eggs on land. Then we've got amphibians, these are cold-blooded vertebrates, and they can live both in the water and on land. And they begin their life in the water with gills, but they develop lungs, meaning they can come out of the water as they grow. And lastly, insects. They are invertebrates with 6 legs and generally 1 or 2 pairs of wings. We tend to use the term insect for any creepy crawly, but this is actually inaccurate. It specifically is for those that have 6 legs and generally have wings. So we've got our vocabulary there, because what you are going to do today is do a little bit more research about your favorite group of animals. So think about your favorite animal, maybe decide which animal group that belongs to, and then go online and do some further research about which other animals are in that group. Could you create a poster with, it could say amphibians in the middle, and draw and sketch lots of different animals that belong to that group, have some did you know boxes about what makes that group of animals special. So bring these back in with you when you come back to school, and we'd love to put them up around the classroom to see what you have been researching with animal groups. Well done, Year 4.